Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again. Ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now. Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Scott Craig of Katie's Restaurant.
All of my ingredients are fresh. Nothing comes out of a can here. Nothing. All of our seafood is Louisiana. All of our vegetables are Louisiana vegetables. It's a neighborhood restaurant.
Katie's in Mid-City.
Mr. Drew Brees is absolutely correct. It is indeed New Orleans, Louisiana. Thanksgiving week. Yeah, you're right. Short work week for most. Long extended weekend for most. I was talking to some friends today. I mean, only in New Orleans. Oyster dressing, dirty rice, baked macaroni. I was thanking the Sicilians for that the other day. And then we're going to have some seafood specialties on just about every menu, huh? Someone might be making jambalaya or gumbo. Might be a little crawfish etouffee, shrimp creole. You never know. Now, we do it differently down here in New Orleans when it comes to eating. We don't eat to live like most people. Just eat to live. Could care less what they ate for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Just something to keep the body going, fuel. Down here in New Orleans, we live to eat. We look forward to lunch. We look forward to dinner. We look forward to everything when it comes to consuming stuff. And we really take it to another level, like not only like an art form, but just an entirely different level of appreciation of food. What I need to try to do myself personally, because I eat fast, I need to slow it down. The Japanese have a, way of eating where it's like, put the fork down, put a bite of food in your mouth and put the fork, put the utensil, the chopsticks, put them down. Chew the food and enjoy the food, savor the food, slow down and enjoy it. Then pick up the fork and start over again. I'll have food in my mouth and I'm stabbing more salad and putting more in my mouth before I've even swallowed. I've swallowed some of it, but I've made like some room and I'm putting more food in before I've even swallowed the bite in my mouth. It's crazy. I really need to slow down when I'm eating. I can knock out like a lunch or dinner in like 5, 6, 7 minutes if I'm not careful. It's just obnoxious. No, got to slow down and savor it. But boy, we do everything else up to that point. At least I do, like most New Orleanians. We're really looking forward to that meal, highly anticipated meal, lunch or dinner. Yeah, Thanksgiving's no different. Like I mentioned, oyster dressing, just fantastic. The rest of the country's not making oyster dressing. The rest of the country's not making dirty rice. The rest of the country's not making like stuffed mirliton, stuffed seafood mirliton, stuffed bell peppers, stuffed crabs. We just do it right. And then sweet potato from the state of Louisiana. North Louisiana, we get those sweet potatoes and pecans and brown sugar and syrup and all kind of good stuff. Lots of butter. No, one thing, I mean, a lot of people, I mean, it's just how it is. I pretty much was like this. I can easily fall back into this mode. I'm not being critical. I've just changed a little bit when it comes to diet. I kind of am a little conscious of what I eat now. And I don't just do whatever I feel like doing. And on a Thanksgiving holiday, I am going to abuse the regular Monday through Friday gimmick that I just mentioned. But it's how far am I going to abuse it? Yeah, I already had some like chocolate earlier today. I pretty much don't eat sweets or chocolate, a Coke, stuff like that, unless it's a Sunday. And then some Sundays I don't even have chocolate or a Coke. But then some Sundays I'm like, damn, it's Sunday. And like, I wasn't even thinking about chocolate or a Coke, and I'll immediately go get like a Coke or some chocolate. It's crazy. Just that addiction, that sugar, that, I'm an American, grew up on this stuff. So no, during Thanksgiving, sitting around, waiting for the next meal, picking on stuff, all kind of goodies available. Could be candy, cake, snacks, whatever. Could be regular food, could be healthy stuff, but you're just eating a lot of it. Almonds and nuts and berries and things like that. No, you can consume too much of it. Guaranteed we're going to consume too much over the next 24, 48 hours. Now, I will tell you this. You're going to get tired of the leftovers quicker than you might think, sooner than later. Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville's open tonight. They're closed tomorrow. They reopen on Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. So you can get to Gallagher's 527. What a great pre-Thanksgiving meal you can have. You can get to Gallagher's 527 tonight in Mandeville and have a great dinner. And then they reopen on Friday. So Friday lunch, Friday dinner, Saturday dinner. They're open for lunch Tuesday through Friday. They're open for dinner Tuesday through Saturday night. Closed on Sunday and Monday. It's Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville. I've been talking about it for the last few months. It's one of my favorite restaurants. I am glad to talk about them, to promote them on my program, to get South Shore folks beelining to the North Shore and enjoying this place, because my reputation's on the line. As a New Orleanian that talks a lot of food and restaurants, I'm sending you somewhere. It better be exactly the way I'm telling it to you, or exceeding those expectations, not below it. No, there's nothing bad on Gallagher's menu. And the lowest level of anything you're going to find on that menu is very, very good to excellent. It's one of the best restaurants in Metro New Orleans, in my opinion. And I don't know, I've gone through the list before. Places that I think are fantastic, like Brightson's, Clancy's, Le Petit Grocery, GW Finn's, Pesh, Station 6, Commander's Palace, Bayona, Irene's, Katie's, Lilette, Doris Metropolitan, Patois, Gabrielle, Treyen, Gautro's, Pelican Club, Houston's. Yeah, Houston's on St. Charles Avenue, one of my favorites. You can be like, all right, Corey, you ruined the whole list with the chain joint. Gallagher's 527's on my list of top 15, top dozen restaurants in the city. I just rattled off a bunch that are my favorite. In Mandeville, right off the causeway, there's no driving on the North Shore, South Shore, folks. You cross that bridge immediately on your right Gallagher's 527. That means it's like 25 minutes from Lakeside Shopping Center. So however long it takes you to get from where you are, where you live, where you're coming from, to get to I-10 and Causeway exit, the Causeway exit off I-10 in Metairie. In 25 minutes from there, you'll be at Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville. And it's so good. If you're thinking about dinner tonight, you're like, boy, Corey said Gallagher's, go. The trip's quick. You'll be with friends, family, great conversation before you know it. You're across the lake. I had a date about 2-3 weeks ago, a couple of Thursday nights ago. Went to Gallagher's 527, picked her up in Uptown in 35 minutes from like Claiborne, Nashville, right around there, Claiborne, Jefferson Avenue, Claiborne, Napoleon. I was at Gallagher's 527 in 35 minutes. No, and great conversation crossing the lake, great conversation coming back across the lake, great conversation at Gallagher's 527. So good. Yeah, happy Thanksgiving. High 60s today. Feels around 60, like high 50s, kind of dampish, kind of humid, but cold, and then a breeze blowing, a wind blowing. You know, so it definitely feels like high 50s, and it never really got warm today at all. It wasn't like cold today, but cool from morning, midday, afternoon. You needed a little light jacket, long sleeves, that kind of gimmick, but very comfortable. You know, you're not heading to Gallagher's, or you're staying at home. Maybe throw down some coals and get outside and enjoy this weather because it's nice. Tomorrow morning when we wake up, yeah, you right, just what the doctor ordered, 45 degrees on the South Shore. That means on the North Shore, probably high 30s over there at Gallagher's 527, Trey Yen country. Low 60s, the high temperature tomorrow. So 45 when we wake up, might go up like 15, 16, 17 degrees from that. So 45 to maybe 59, 60, 61, 62, the high tomorrow. Let's put it this way. Lots of 50s tomorrow. Lots of 40s and 50s on the North Shore. And a rinse and repeat for Friday. So a little taste of some wintry mix. A little Coolio front rolling in as we speak. Perfect timing for Thanksgiving. Most folks are off Friday too, so getting a little cool weather. And then the weekend, Saturday looks okay. Might get some rain on Sunday. Warming up a little bit, but still kind of cool and comfortable. The latest and greatest on the LSU coaching search. Fletcher Mackel's going to join us in a minute. Glenn Gilbo in the 5 o'clock powwow. I'll get a couple of different viewpoints on that. Audubon Gutters featuring the Leaf Guard system. It's not a cover or a screen add-on. It's all one piece. That's what Audubon Gutters will install. All they do is gutters. You need gutters for your home or business? AudubonGutters.com. AudubonGutters.com.
Scott Craig of Katie's Restaurant.
All of my ingredients are fresh. Nothing comes out of a can here. Nothing. All of our seafood is Louisiana. All of our vegetables are Louisiana vegetables. It's a neighborhood restaurant.
Katie's in Mid-City.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, Lebanon's Cafe.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com.
Word is, one of the best restaurants in New Orleans isn't even in New Orleans. Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville. Cross the lake and taste what you're missing. Tuesday through Saturday, Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville.
Isn't it time to have that dream backyard you've always wanted? LGD Lawn and Landscapes can make it happen with artificial turf installation. Synthetic turf gives you the look and feel of natural grass. You get a beautiful lawn without the ongoing expenses of maintenance and no puddles, meaning you won't be tracking grass or dirt into the house. Let LGD come to your house and give you a free estimate. NOLALGD.com. Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Yeah, you, right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. Wide Open Wednesday edition of the program. I was almost going to say a Fantasy Friday edition of the program because Fletcher Mackle's joining us today. Happy Thanksgiving, Fletch.
Corey, happy Thanksgiving to you.
Yep, you turkey, you.
Thanks.
All right. Am I going to see a post with you and your mom outside Ralph's in the Park tomorrow around 2:30? And, oh, it was fantastic. Thanksgiving with mom, blah, blah, blah. Am I going to see that? The Mackle tradition.
That is. My mother and I will be having lunch tomorrow at Ralph's in the Park. You're 100% correct.
All right. I want you to have either the red or green jacket on from that suit you had.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we've kind of retired some of those.
Oh boy, the red and the green. You could wear the pants red, the coat green, and get ready for Christmas.
Yeah.
All right, enough of that. All right, Fletch, the latest and greatest on the LSU coaching search. Any new news? Anything Any new rumors? What's your vibe? What's your feel?
No, I don't. My feel is that it seems like it's going to be Lane Kiffin. But Again, I just don't know because I feel like this whole situation is crazy and wild and it's been crazy. I don't know. I mean, look, I want LSU to get a good coach because it's better for my job when they win covering them and more fun. Like the 2019 national championship was amazing. But I feel like for the sanctity of college football and the institution that it is, it's going to look – I want him to stay at Ole Miss because I think it's going to look so awful for the sport if and when, he just leaves to go to a rival when he's built Ole Miss into a national power and a playoff team and a national championship contender. Those are all the things you want. That's what we should be celebrating. And instead, we're going to be talking about his character and jumping ship and why did he do it and, how bad is it for college football? And so, again, I just but look, here's the thing. If he was staying at Ole Miss, he'd have signed an extension. Kurt Cignetti signed an extension with Indiana because they were worried Penn State was coming for him. If Lane Kiffin was staying at Ole Miss, he'd have signed an extension. And if he's still debating, I find that I just can't imagine that he's he may be too unstable to take over a program like LSU. But maybe it's Florida. Maybe there's a wild card NFL team out there, and that's going to be the big announcement. But I think he's going to end up being the next coach at LSU.
All I would say to that, Fletch, is just a question outside of this. Don't you love your job at Channel 6? You've been there like almost 25 years, right?
Yep.
You love it. If ESPN called and said, we want to fly you up for an interview, and, you knew the salary was going to be like double or triple what you're making at Channel 6, I'm not saying you'd take the gig, but and I can't get in your head, like we can't get in Lane Kiffin's, but I would assume you would go do the interview just to feel it out. And you might end up just staying at Channel 6 because you love it so much. So you kind of get what I'm getting at. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if he stays at Ole Miss. I think he's just maybe just feeling out the wall. Florida wants to talk to him. LSU wants to talk to him. He obviously hadn't decided which one there because he sent his family to both places. Like, do you like him? Could you live there? That kind of thing. Feeling it out. He knows he can stay at Ole Miss. I don't know. I still think it's like a third of a chance Ole Miss, a third of a chance LSU, a third of a chance Florida. That's my take on this. I
disagree a little bit. And the reason why is some of those, like the parallels I don't necessarily love because it's kind of like he's not at Mississippi Valley State or Delta State. He's at Ole Miss. So like that would be like the comp would be like me going to interview for a job in Houston, not at ESPN. Like, and it wouldn't be triple his salary. He makes almost $10 million, and he's going to go to like 12.8.
No, you're right. No, I was just saying you're just something.
So like the parallels of like, you know what I mean? Like, again, John Sumrall makes 3. LSU taking John Sumrall to 9 and giving him NIL is a much different stratosphere than where he is at Tulane.
No, I agree with you. I just meant like,
my thing is Lane Kiffin is in that stratosphere. Like, Ole Miss is a playoff team in the power conference of power conferences with like the 7th most NIL money spent this year and a salary that makes him one of the top 10 coaches. So, like, why do you have to leave that? You know what I mean? Like, again, if he just says, like, if he would come out and say, this program sucks, and I've dragged it as far as I can drag it, and maybe that's what he's telling him. Like, that's how I look at it.
What if it's about getting like assistant coaches' salaries up, getting the NIL even higher, boosting his salary by a few million? I mean, it could just be that type of thing. I mean, Ole Miss is not going to say no. That they know that he's worth tens of millions of dollars annually to that university, if not more.
Yes, but the thing is there's better ways to do it. Like, here's the thing. Like, we all agreed, there were better ways for Jeff Landry and the board and LSU to handle the Brian Kelly, Scott Woodward fallout. There are much better ways to get what you want if you're Lane Kiffin. Like, if Lane Kiffin's goal was to stay at Ole Miss and get his coaches raises, the tactics he's using are idiotic. And so, like, if he has to use these tactics, then they're just an awful program. And I don't think they're an awful program. I just think he's leaving. Like, again, I don't think it's anything greater than that. I just think that, look, his dad was a longtime coach. Coaching is a nomadic profession. He's been a nomad, moving around from Northern California to Tennessee to Southern California to Alabama to South Florida to it's nomadic. So I just think in his nature, it's what's the next best opportunity. And look, I'm not saying LSU and Florida aren't better jobs, but I don't know if that gap that 5 or 10 years ago existed before NIL and open transfer is the gap it once was. Like, 10 years ago, Indiana wasn't on the same playing field.
No, of course
Ohio
not.
State.
Neither was Ole Miss.
Ole Miss wasn't on the same playing field with LSU and Florida.
But
here's the thing. Ole Miss is above those programs now.
Yep.
Like, so that's why I feel like if he was staying, he could have alleviated a lot of the headache, a lot of the drama, a lot of, like, the buffoonery, and just stayed. Like, now if he stays, it's like dude, what are you, like, how big of a drama queen are you that you just
Well,
want?
no, like I said, maybe he wants to get salary for assistant coaches. Maybe he wants to hire more, people with the program, wants a few million more NIL, that kind of thing. And he's using it as leverage. We'll see. It's all going to shake out in the next few days, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to shake up I think by the end of the Egg Bowl, things are going to leak out. The Egg Bowl is Friday at 11 a.m.
Yep.
I would say by Friday afternoon, whether he says it, his agent, Jimmy Sexton, says it,
yep.
the school says it, I think they'll be, if this drags into next week and we still don't know, then at that point, somebody like LSU should say, we're out, we're done.
Yeah, no. I think they probably will. Hey, real quick, how is this any different from Les Miles going to Michigan about 16, 17 years ago, where everybody was like, he's gone. And then he goes, I'm here to coach my damn good football team. I'm not going to Michigan. I think went on to win the national championship. How's this any different? Why do you think after the Egg Bowl, Lane Kiffin says, man, I'm staying at Ole Miss?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. The difference is that Miles never came out and said, Miles never left him in limbo. Miles said, I'm the coach at LSU. We're focusing on LSU or whatever. And then when reports came out that he was taking it, he called the press conference to say, I'm not. And so now again, I get it. Coaches are in demand. Miles was a Michigan man. I covered all the rumors and the speculation.
Yeah.
But I don't ever remember it getting, and right when it got to the point of he's doing it, they called an immediate report to say, he's not, he's staying. So, I mean, Kiffin won't pick and look, maybe he's still thinking about it. Maybe he is, weighing his options. I just feel like his option, if it was Ole Miss, it would be done.
Yeah.
It's not Ole Miss.
No, I got
It's going to be Florida, LSU, a crazy wild card scenario somewhere. But I want him to stay at Ole Miss, but I just think that could have been done a long time ago in a much more classy way.
I think Nick Saban was a second choice after LSU couldn't get Tuberville. I think Les Miles was a second choice. DiNardo might have been a second choice. Ogeron, second choice when they couldn't get USC coach.
No, that was Tom Herman. They couldn't get Tom Herman.
Yeah, Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly was a set. Yeah, Herman. They couldn't get the USC coach, so Brian Kelly was the second choice.
Right.
Who's the B candidate for LSU? The first question. The second question. Now, again, it's just social media, Fletch, but it's a lot of people like you on social media. I'm not talking like John Doe, the moron, making comments, but sports people all around the country. I heard some are all connected to maybe Florida, and then they canceled the interview last Thursday. I've heard if Lane Kiffin goes to LSU, Ole Miss will hire Sumrall. I mean, Ole Miss hadn't even lost their coach, and I've heard Sumrall to Ole Miss. I've heard Sumrall to Florida. Again, social media could be nothing. Some of it's real reports, could be nothing. Why have we not heard anything at all, Sumrall to LSU? Who's the B choice for LSU, and why does it appear that John Sumrall isn't in that number?
Oh, I think Sumrall is very much in the number for LSU. I would disagree with that.
Good.
I think Sumrall
Good to hear.
is. I don't know if he's number two. I think that, from a lot of the people that I've talked to, that it does seem to be that Eli Drinkwitz from Missouri is the guy that they would go after if Lane Kiffin leaves him at the altar. But Drinkwitz is working on a deal at Missouri right now, supposedly. Yeah. So he'll stay there. But I think that Sumrall is very much in play at LSU. I do not believe that.
I like hearing that. What are the chances of him staying at Tulane this year? Like 10% at best, 20%?
Yeah, I mean, look, he's got a team on the cusp of the playoffs. There's so many Power 4 jobs. He's a great young coach. They're just going to get outbid, and he can't not take it professionally. So I would say, I guess there's a world where if they keep winning, he stays and says, I'll go into the cycle next year.
Yeah.
But I think, look, Florida, Auburn, LSU, I mean, just those three alone.
No, exactly. No, obviously I'd like to see him stay. If he leaves, I'd like to see him go to LSU. I love the guy like you do. Fletch, happy Thanksgiving. Have a good meal with your mom at Ralph's in the Park. I look forward to the pictures on social media tomorrow afternoon.
All right, great. Happy Thanksgiving to you too.
Yeah, you're right. That's Fletcher Mackel, Channel 6 Sports. Coming right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience. Right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
South Shore residents that love good food are making the short trip across the lake to Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville. North Shore folks have known about Gallagher's 527 for years. Now the South Shore has discovered this hidden gem. One of the metro area's best restaurants is less than 30 minutes away. Take the quick trip across the lake and experience Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville. As good as it gets.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Artificial turf custom golf putting green. Beautiful, functional, zero maintenance. Call New Orleans' own LGD Lawn and Landscapes and get your free estimate.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. It's all about more, and it's called more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again. Ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now.
Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Yeah, you, right? Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you on a wide open Wednesday. Lebanon's Cafe will be open till 9:30 tonight. Why don't you go enjoy some great Middle Eastern food? Lamb chop, shish kebab. Open till 9:30. Lebanon's Cafe, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn. Fox 8's done a great job with these stories. But these stories would not be possible without UNO professor, forensic scientists, and kind of like a NOPD watchdog looking over, overtime abuses, things of that nature. Skip Gallagher is with us again on the program. Happy Thanksgiving, Skip.
Yeah, a good one to you too as well. So hopefully everybody's going to have a nice long break.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Hey, will some NOPD officers be enjoying Thanksgiving with family, but maybe still on the clock, making money? Fill us in on the latest and greatest with the NOPD and some maybe abuses when it comes to regular pay, overtime, details. It's been kind of crazy.
It is. And when you really sit down and think of it, the average person thinks an NOPD officer is taking home maybe $60,000 or $70,000 at most. And what I found through looking at pay records for their 2024 is that their average compensation, which includes their pay, overtime, and details, was just over $124,000
on
per
average.
officer.
On average.
That's the average. That's the average. And then I found about 44 officers that are above 200,000, and then 3 officers above $250,000.
Holy smokes! You're telling me out of like roughly 750, 800 cops, the average salary is 124 grand.
That salary, details, overtime.
Yeah, what they're putting on their tax returns.
Yes, and it can be a little bit higher because there are officers that may have something else on the side, and I actually know some officers that they have details that they don't report. So, and those, of course, would not show up in those numbers.
I mean, on a side note, I'm the NOPD. I mean, all these, hey, starting salary 60 grand. I go recruit cops saying our average policeman on their tax return files a tax return of $124,000. That would help recruiting, huh, Skip?
It would, but we have to remember that, a lot of the officers are quite honest. They're not doing anything. They're doing their 43-hour week. They're going home. There's nothing really going on there. They work maybe a few details. They work a bit of overtime when needed. What is really skewing this is the very high end that is really pushing those numbers up quite high.
Gotcha. I would think the majority of the NOPD are legitimate, and it's a small percentage that are pulling these gimmicks, right?
There is, unfortunately, a significant percentage, and I think what has happened and what we've really come to realize is that this group has been growing, and it's been growing because there has really been a lack of oversight.
Yep.
Their pay records are being approved with little or no oversight. And I've been talking about this for more than 4 years and filed complaints on a number of these officers that it's clear and obvious, but some of this stuff defies any sort of reasonable explanation. You can't have officers working for months without a day off. This isn't what's happening. What is happening is that they are not expected to be somewhere, so they're not somewhere. And yet no one is really checking to make sure they are where they're supposed to be. Some of the other things just scream problems is officers who check in at exactly the same time every single day and check out 16 hours and 35 minutes at exactly the same time every single day.
Yeah.
It's inhumanly possible for you and I to hit that. That's 5 minutes before that, 5 minutes after, but it just all screams fraud.
Yep.
And that's exactly what Channel 8 found when they put a camera. And look, they've done this before. And there was no lesson learned.
Well, I think it's sort of like, the poster boys for this, the Morrell brothers. They're getting paid full to salary, working for the NOPD. They're on the clock. And at the same time, they're working a detail privately, and they're on the clock there. And they're doing neither. They're obnoxiously on the West Bank racing their car at the racetrack while they're double dipping. And they both earned over $200,000 a year for several years until they got busted. I think a problem, Skip, those guys, one brother never prosecuted. The other one was, and he walked with probation. So it doesn't scare the other NOPD that they're going to jail, or they may even get away with it and not get caught, that the Morrell brothers were obnoxious about it and don't do that stuff. Don't go race the car at the track. But I just think it sends a bad message when there's really no repercussions.
There has been very little, even when officers are identified. And a great example of that, which I'm super familiar with, was an officer that had, within 2-year, 10-month period, had 333 payroll violations. So essentially one every third day. And yet that officer received a 5-day suspension. And that officer was the highest paid officer in the NOPD in 2023 at just over $250,000.
Who's this officer? What's his name?
Anthony Bakewell.
Anthony Bakewell.
Now, it's interesting because many of these problem officers have other issues, and Officer Bakewell was fired this year for sexual harassment.
Wow.
Yeah, he was sexually harassing 4 female officers came forward. It was likely more, but 4 has stepped forward at some point.
Skip, the 3 officers making north of $250,000 a year, the 44 that are making north of $200,000 a year as police officers in the NOPD. Is all of it fraud and abuse, or is anyone legitimately working the hours?
I think when you start talking over 200,000, then I think it's all fraud.
It's impossible to do it legitimately.
Yeah, because the numbers, the amount of overtime you would have to clock, the amount of details you'd have to clock, you simply couldn't rest. And you can imagine, I think all of us have done this. We've worked to our limit one day, and the next day we get up and repeat that. Imagine working 2 16-hour days back to back. There's officers that have reported 7, 8, 9, 10 days of 16 hours and 35 minutes back to back. It is, you would be seeing things, you'd be hallucinating. You just cannot remain coherent. And I think the important part here is that the officers aren't doing this, which is why they are coherent. A recent look by the Louisiana auditor found that many of the districts could not explain what the overtime was for. So officers normally have a trip sheet telling people what they did. So they went out at a call at 9:30 and it was a breaking an entry, and they went out at a call at 10 and that was a suspicious person. There's trip sheets which record what those officers are doing. Many of the districts could not produce trip sheets for overtime for some of these officers. So you couldn't really identify even what they were doing, yet their time is routinely being approved at 200, $250,000. The only officer that legitimately has that kind of salary is the chief of police.
Yeah.
And for the first time ever in 2024, the chief of police, and the records I've kept over 5, 6 years, the chief of police was the #1 paid officer in the NOPD.
Yeah.
It's the first time it's happened, and that's what it should be. But we should expect the assistant chiefs, so we should expect them to be just under that. And I got to tell you, they're not there. They're not in the 200 plus category. What instead we see is officers that are gaming the system. They realize no one's going to check their payroll records. They realize they can get away with it. And there is, even if they're caught, it's a slap in the wrist.
Yeah.
What's a 2-day, 3-day suspension when you're pulling, $200,000?
Nothing. You'd take the 3-day suspension, go fishing.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah.
No,
or
it's a
piggyback it with some time off and actually go to Disney World. But you're not going to worry about it. The amount of money. And I think, New Orleans is a pretty reasonable place to live. And we just don't see those kind of salaries very often. And yet we're seeing them in the NOPD. And I think a point you made earlier, if the salaries and the compensation was truly that high, you would be recruiting some of the very finest, I think.
Yes.
But what this really is a sign of payroll fraud.
You'd have seasoned cops leaving jobs in other cities, flocking to New Orleans to make 6 figures plus.
Yes. And that is just absolutely right. And this just is such a mess. It really needs a dedicated effort. But what's going on right now is it looks like Louisiana is auditing the NOPD as well as the Office of Inspector General for New Orleans.
There you go.
There. And I think we will see some interesting work coming from them. We've already seen some comments on Channel 8 where they actually talked about what they found disturbing. So they've already made public some of the things they found and what the city council and the new mayor should be looking at. We can't turn around because the collective fraud here is costing the city of New Orleans tens of millions of dollars and fraudulent time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and that money needs to be paid for legitimate overtime where officers boots on the street, walking the beat, arresting criminals.
Absolutely.
Hey, Skip, is it all different ranks? Is it from the bottom cops all the way up to the top almost? I mean, obviously not Ann Kirkpatrick or
no. Many of the folks like captains and majors, they're essentially salaried.
Yeah.
So there is some flexibility in what they can do. They can take some details, and that does happen. But below that, lieutenants and below, they
got a lot more flexibility and not responsibility overlooking a crew, so they can, take advantage of the system. Wow.
saying that, the lieutenants often should be in charge of something, and they should be performing an oversight function. And the consent decree that we just got out of, one of the big complaints for more than a decade was a lack of oversight. And I think this payroll fraud issue is just a feature of that, which has never gone away. It's sort of hidden in the dark, and it's managed to thrive. And I've filed dozens of complaints trying to point out exactly who, what, where. I have pointed to officers who were not going to work and not going to their details.
Yeah.
And yet the investigations into those officers were truly pathetic.
No, I think, but between the state auditor, the inspector general, Ed Michelle, you and Fox 8, what you revealed in Fox 8, coupled with Ann Kirkpatrick wanting to fix things, not some hack politician or appointed anointed person, it'll get fixed. Hey, Skip, a pleasure.
Yes.
Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family.
All the same to you and everyone else.
That's Skip Gallagher from UNO. Coming right back, Corey Johnson with you.
It's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof. Now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Word is, one of the best restaurants in New Orleans isn't even in New Orleans. Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville. Cross the lake and taste what you're missing. Tuesday through Saturday, Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters, and you'll never have to clean your gutters again, ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home, and right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now.
Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
Yeah, you right. Kiefer and Kiefer. If you are not injured or don't have a real claim, but you're trying to take advantage of the system, Kiefer and Kiefer is not for you. But if you have a real injury, you have a real claim, you need a real lawyer that can deliver real results, KieferandKiefer.com. Corey Johnson with you on this wide open Wednesday. Happy Thanksgiving. It never got warm today. It never was cold. but kind of feels like high 50s throughout the day, from morning, noon to right now. Temperatures in the 60s, but feels like 50s. Kind of cold, dank, humid, breezy. Temperatures are only going to drop when we wake up tomorrow morning for Thanksgiving. 45 degrees on the South Shore, probably high 30s on the North Shore. Yeah, you're right. Mosquito killing weather. Tomorrow's high temperatures, Thanksgiving Day. The North Shore probably won't hit 60. The South Shore, we might hit 60, 61, 62 degrees, but it's going to feel like high 40s and 50s. And then Friday, a rinse and repeat. So lots of feels like the 50s, like right now, tomorrow, Friday, even a little cooler tomorrow and Friday. Then a slight warm up, not much, Saturday, maybe some rain on Sunday. Enjoy this extended Thanksgiving holiday. Happy Thanksgiving, where we give thanks. And ideally we give, like, go to the Humane website, Humane Society of Louisiana website, save some cats and dogs, some kittens and puppies, horses, goats. Jeff Dorson, that great crew over there. You want to feel good for Thanksgiving? Go to humanela.org and donate $5 or $10 and save some animals. $20, $50, $100, whatever you can afford. I guarantee you this, you'll save some animals. It's a great feeling. humanela.org. If you missed the 4 o'clock hour so far, you missed a lot. Fletcher Mackel joined us to kind of start the hour, the latest and greatest on the LSU head coaching search for football. Glenn Gilbo has been covering LSU athletics for nearly 40 years. He's going to join us in about 20 minutes in the 5 o'clock power hour on this wide open Wednesday, this Thanksgiving week holiday. Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans, Inc., about 30 minutes away. Yeah, got a good one lined up for you. And Skip Gallagher just joined us, the forensic scientist from UNO, scrutinizing these NOPD officers and their salaries. I shouldn't say their salaries, their income. I mean, the Morrell brothers, those two brothers that each earned over $200,000 each a year. For several years in a row, they'd be punched in, working the clock as an NOPD officer. And then at the same time, working a detail. It's impossible. You can't be two places at once. You can't be on the clock as an NOPD officer, walking the beat, and then you're working a private detail somewhere. Impossible. Here's the worst part. They were racing their race car on the West Bank at the racetrack while all this was going on. So, I mean, if you're on the clock as an NOPD officer and you're working the detail, it's criminal. It's abuse. If you're working, the detail and you're on the clock as an NOPD officer, it's abuse. You're stealing. If you're doing both and you're racing your car at the racetrack, it's ridiculous. One brother never indicted, and the other pleads guilty and doesn't go to jail. It just sends a message to the rest of the NOPD, the deviant ones. You could probably get away with this crap if you're just more careful than the, Morrell brothers were. Skip Gallagher said there's like 750, 800 NOPD officers. On their tax return, the average income is $124,000 for all those cops. 124 grand. Because you got 3 officers making north of $250,000 a year. And Skip Gallagher's right. It's physically impossible. You can't be on the clock as an NOPD officer for 43 hours a week, and then you can't be doing another 40 hours of detail. Just when do you sleep? It's physically impossible. You can't work 9 days a week, 40 days a month, 500 days a year. It's impossible. So you got 3 officers making $250,000 plus, fraud and abuse. You got 44 NOPD officers, 44. That's like 5% of the force, more than that. About 6-7% of the force. Like 1 out of every 15 NOPD making north of 200 grand. That's obnoxious. That's insane. Again, fraud and abuse. That's nearly 50 cops right there. There's a bunch more that are, right on it, making $160, $170, $180, 190,000 a year, dozens more. It's crazy. You might have like 100 cops out of 800 that are abusing the system when it comes to payroll. Like 1 out of 7, 1 out of 8. What is 15%? Something like that. 12 to 15% of NOPD are abusing it. No, thank God for Skip Gallagher scrutinizing something. You got to be a forensic scientist to do this. It would just be painfully boring and tedious, and so many different, cops, and going through the payroll and the hours they punched in and the details they worked and matching up the weeks and all that. Just a big pain in the rear end. Thank God for Skip Gallagher at UNO for doing it. Thank goodness that Fox 8's running with it. Thank goodness the Louisiana State Auditor is going to investigate all this. Thank goodness the Inspector General, Ed Michel, City of New Orleans, is investigating all this because it's taxpayer money. We got a $150 million deficit in the city of New Orleans right now. Next year, it's going to be $220 million. Hey, you bet your ass you want to save tens of millions of dollars in abusive NOPD salaries or compensation, people abusing the system, taking advantage, cheating, stealing, theft, criminal behavior by cops. That's another thing, like with the Morell brothers not spending any time in jail. It just sends a terrible message in two ways. One, it says, boy, you can get away with these white collar crimes. And two, when a criminal attacks like a cop, it's like, my God, this criminal's really dangerous. Like children, elderly, police, you're going to go after a cop? It's like a worse crime than going after just a regular citizen. If you're going after children or elderly or a policeman, you're that brazen, you're going to go after a cop? Well, the flip side's the same as well. A cop, police, we hold them to a higher standard. So if a criminal's attacking them, it's a really heinous crime. It's even worse than normal. If a cop's committing a crime, it's even worse than normal. We hold them to a higher standard, and these cops get away with it. It's a terrible message. Ann Kirkpatrick, the chief, the good thing is she wants to change this. She's not some political hack. So she'll embrace the change. Hopefully they'll implement the change, and this will all stop. Don't go anywhere. 5 o'clock powwow right now.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 5 p.m.
Isn't it time to have that dream backyard you've always wanted?
Yes.
LGD Lawn and Landscapes can make it happen with artificial turf installation. Synthetic turf gives you the look and feel of natural grass. You get a beautiful lawn without the ongoing expenses of maintenance and no puddles, meaning you won't be tracking grass or dirt into the house. Let LGD come to your house and give you a free estimate. NOLALGD.com.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. My Sittu, that's Arabic for grandmother, used to make the best football kibbe. You can experience kibbe just like my grandmother used to make, and so many other Middle Eastern favorites on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe,
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots.
South Shore residents that love good food are making the short trip across the lake to Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville. North Shore folks have known about Gallagher's 527 for years. Now the South Shore has discovered this hidden gem. One of the metro area's best restaurants is less than 30 minutes away. Take the quick trip across the lake and experience Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville. As good as it gets.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again. Ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now.
Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Yeah, you right. 5 o'clock powwow on a wide open Wednesday, Thanksgiving week. Kaboom goes the dynamite. Well, if you missed the 4 o'clock hour, you missed a lot. Fletcher Mackel, the latest and greatest on the LSU coaching search. Skip Gallagher, UNO forensic scientist on the NOPD payroll fraud with NOPD officers. It is New Orleans. The good, bad, and the ugly. Hey, coming up in a few minutes, about 10 minutes away, more on the latest and greatest on the LSU coaching search, a different perspective, different opinions, maybe different facts. We had Fletcher Mackel last hour. Glenn Gilbo will join us in 10 minutes. Glenn's been covering LSU athletics for almost 40 years. He'll have some good scoop. Stick around for that, Tiger fans, and tell your friends and family. Spread the word to any LSU fans. Glenn Gilbo in 10 minutes. You can check us out on the radio. You can check us out on television. You can check us out on YouTube, The Nutri-Ground with Corey Johnson, right now live on YouTube. Click to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on X, on Twitter, at Corey Johnson. We're live on X, Twitter right now. If you missed any of this at 6 o'clock, you can always check out the, broadcast again on Twitter or YouTube and on Spotify. The podcast will be on Spotify after 6 o'clock. We post small clips, little short clips on 5 different social media platforms. Check us out. Corey Johnson, The Nutri-Ground with Corey Johnson on X, YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook, and on TikTok. Yeah, you're right. Happy Thanksgiving. Tomorrow morning when we wake up, Thanksgiving morning and Friday morning, the next 2 mornings, about 45 degrees on the South Shore, probably high 30s on the North Shore, and we will not hit 70 degrees. May barely get into the 60s tomorrow and Friday. Lots of 50s. Waking up to around 45, the high temperature tomorrow, the high temperature Friday, around 60. So lots of 50s and a little wintry kind of Coolio and the gang mix for Thanksgiving, just what the doctor ordered, huh? Just what the doctor ordered. Got a good one for you on this wide open Wednesday, 5 o'clock powwow. Like I said, Glenn Gilbo in a few minutes. The latest, greatest on LSU's coaching search. Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans Inc. in about 20 minutes. It is Thanksgiving weekend. Now, most of us are going to cruise through the holidays. No problem with air conditioning and heat. But somebody out there listening or watching right now will have a problem with their air conditioning or heat. It's just inevitable. I hope it's not you, but somebody's going to have problems. You want to solve that problem quickly. Total Maintenance is there. 3 things to remember. Lucas, fair and honest, Lucas and the boys, incapable of screwing you around. They're honest. I don't know about you. I don't want to learn about air conditioning. I want someone I can unequivocally trust. That's fair and honest, Lucas and the boys at Total Maintenance. They're experts, like 30-plus technicians, 30-plus trucks, hundreds of years of experience. They'll diagnose it right the first time. And they come with a sense of urgency immediately because they understand your heat or AC is not working. So those 3 things are of vital importance. Here's another one. Weekday, weekend, overnight, or holiday, Total Maintenance is there. Tomorrow, Thanksgiving Day, you're having AC problems, heat problems. Total Maintenance will be at your place on Thanksgiving Day, on Thanksgiving night, on Friday after Thanksgiving. You don't have to wait till after the weekend. They're there for you. If you need air conditioning or heat help in New Orleans or Baton Rouge, think Total Maintenance, tm-ac.com. If you need AC or heat help on Thanksgiving Day or night, think Total Maintenance. In New Orleans, in Baton Rouge, tm-ac.com. Yeah, you're right. Wide open Wednesday edition of the program. 5 arrested by ICE at the Gretna Home Depot. Now, I mentioned this as far as like illegal aliens, migrant workers. You remember the Untouchables movie? The Sean Connery character telling, Elliot Ness, everybody knows where the liquor is. Do you want to cross Al Capone? Everybody knows where the illegals or migrant workers are. Go to just about any farm in America. Go to any meatpacking plant, beef, pork, chicken, whatever. Go to a dairy farm, any dairy farm. Go to horse race tracks. Fairgrounds, Evangeline Downs, Delta Downs here in Louisiana, Louisiana Downs, whatever. Any racetrack in America. Construction sites. We all know where the illegal or migrant workers are. So it's not like you need a lot of research and, if you want to go arrest migrant workers or illegals, it's easy. But because, in my opinion, this is all a farce, it's just a political game. We don't have a problem with migrant workers or illegal aliens. The exact opposite. They're a huge benefit for us. They do all the work no one wants to do. I just mentioned all the places they work because no citizens want to work at those places. None. And if we did, prices would skyrocket for everything. So migrant workers, illegals have been part of the fabric of America and capitalism since day one, hundreds of years. No, this is a political farce. It's how politics work. You want to solve problems? That's hard. Hey, people, we need to solve a problem. You're going to have to take a step backwards to go 2 forwards. That's painful. Politicians don't want to do that. Politicians want to make up a problem, get you believing it, buying into it, getting mad about it, then taking it up another level. Your plight in life, why you lost your job, why you're struggling is because of them. And then all of a sudden you're voting, you're passionate about this topic that puts no money in your pocket, doesn't educate your kids, doesn't build any infrastructure, and doesn't lower crime. It's a farce. It's a total farce. We need the migrant workers. We need the illegal aliens. Why is it a political farce? How do I prove that point? Because anytime ICE makes a mistake, the leadership, either the president, people under him, whatever, and they go raid Delta Downs in Vinton. I said this when it happened. I'm like, Delta Downs in Vinton isn't some unique track. Every track in America, a lot of the employees, especially like the groomers and folks handling the horses, cleaning out the stalls, all that tough work, migrant workers, illegal workers. So they went off kind of half-cocked. They ready, fire, aimed, and went and raided Delta Downs, arrested 82. Two had a criminal past. Don't know if it was violent, just criminal past. The other 80 did not. The very next day, I predicted this. I was like, racetracks around the country are going to freak out. The next day, a USA Today article talking about that. Not raiding any more tracks. You want to know why? All these industries I mentioned, horse racing, meat packing plants, chicken, poultry, whatever, farms, fruits and vegetables, dairy farms, 90+% of them are conservative Republican owned. It's just how it works. Liberals, they act, and artists and musicians, creative stuff. Conservatives, bankers, entrepreneurs, business people, just how people gravitate towards these jobs. The liberal and the conservative thing's like an incidental. But most of these entities are conservative owned. So when the racetracks get raided, you have people calling the powers that be in DC, go like, I'm MAGA. I donated to Donald Trump. I voted for Trump. I would have voted for him twice if I could. Stop raiding the racetracks. They stopped raiding the racetracks. They one and done. If you don't think an order was put out, do not raid any racetracks anymore. And they're not raiding meat packing plants or dairy farms or farms in general because they're conservative owned. A Home Depot, one location. You know, if there's some violent offenders, great. We'll see the 5 arrested if they're violent criminals or not. Otherwise, it's worthless. It's just a waste of money, a waste of resources. No, it's all a political scam. And proof is, just like the Untouchables movie, we know where the liquor is. Everyone knows. Do you want to cross Capone? Everyone knows where migrants and illegals are. Do you want to cross conservative MAGA voters that support Trump? And the answer is no. So ICE is very selective and very careful, the entities they raid, as to not offend a Trump MAGA major donor or supporter. Because everybody knows where the illegals or migrant workers are. That's easy to find them. No, it's how do you show this, force and make the base believe that it's all legitimate and illegals are a major problem, yet not upset the apple cart. So it's a careful, precarious thing, but very selective raids by ICE. Corey Johnson with you on a wide open Wednesday. Glenn Gilbo joins us next. The latest and greatest on the LSU coaching search. Michael Heck's about 20 minutes away. That segment's always brought to you by Latrim, the global manufacturing giant in Elmwood. We're going into a new year in about 5-6 weeks. New Year's resolution, maybe a new job or a new career. Get started right now. What a great pre-Thanksgiving thing to do right now. Go to the Latrim.com website for a full listing of positions available. Dozens and dozens and dozens of jobs. A new job, a new career for you. Latrim.com. Go to the website now.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-JC.com, your cool spots.
word is one of the best restaurants in New Orleans isn't even in New Orleans. Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville. Cross the lake and taste what you're missing. Tuesday through Saturday, Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. Artificial turf custom golf putting greens. Beautiful, functional, zero maintenance. Call New Orleans' own LGD Lawn and Landscapes and get your free estimate. There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet. Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line. Lebanon's Cafe.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Scott Craig of Katie's Restaurant.
All of my ingredients are fresh. Nothing comes out of a can here. Nothing. All of our seafood is Louisiana. All of our vegetables are Louisiana vegetables. It's a neighborhood restaurant.
Katie's in Mid-City.
Yeah, you, right. Corey Johnson back at you on a wide open Wednesday. Why don't you get to Katie's tonight for dinner? The weather's nice. Feels like it's in the 60s. Outdoor dining. They got the patio. Taste of New Orleans. Big portions. Great for sharing. Get some seafood. Get a steak. You're going to be turkeyed out in the next few days. Get a good final meal before the big Thanksgiving meal. Get to Katie's tonight for dinner. Glenn Gilbo has been covering LSU athletics for nearly 40 years. How you doing, Glenn?
Good. Happy Thanksgiving, man.
Yeah, you too, man. Happy Thanksgiving.
Wednesday Thanksgiving night.
Yep. Well, a birdie told me Glenn Gilbo is going to be enjoying some turkey tomorrow and then beelining to Starkville for the Egg Bowl, and not so much for Ole Miss and Mississippi State, but for Lane Kiffin.
Yeah. We decided going on 2 to 3 weeks ago to go ahead and get a credential for this game because it's on Friday, and we had an inkling that Lane Kiffin was definitely going to be one of the top guys. So I'm glad we made that credential. So that's going to be fun covering that game. And then, it could be his last game, or he who knows? You might say he's staying after the game, or God knows what, or there may be something on the next day, Saturday. So I'm going to stay over and see. And if he does take the LSU job, that press conference, I'm just guessing, would probably be on Monday. So I'll have time to get back. But it's going to be an interesting weekend for sure.
Everybody can check out the latest and greatest from you at tigerrag.com.
Yeah, I got a big story on just kind of setting up the whole weekend on Lane and how close he is, how, if you read the tea leaves, how it looks like he's coming to LSU. But, that can all change in a minute because as I say in the story, Saban changed his mind a few times before he went to Miami. And he told us later that he almost tried to go back to Michigan State after his press conference at LSU. So, coaches, they can change their minds. Or in Lane's case, he's taken a while to make up his mind. I don't know if he actually has. And if he has, he could still change his mind. So who knows?
One could argue 17, 18 years ago, Les Miles was going to Michigan and changed his mind.
Well, I don't know if he changed his mind, but he was not interested. He wanted to go. He wanted to go interview there. People don't realize this, but the Monday after the SEC championship game, he was thinking he might, like on that Thursday or Friday before the game, he was thinking he might go down to Michigan on Monday and talk. And there was a time when coaches could do that, and after he said that, he actually said that at the press conference. I think the Friday before the game, and after that, Charlie Weems and some of the board members that were there said, "Oh man, we can't let him go to Michigan. Let's get this done now." And they got it done Friday night. I remember Herb Vincent called me and said, "It's done. He's definitely staying, and he's not going to go interview with Michigan." And then Kirk Herbstreit made the mistake in reporting the next day on game day, and all hell broke loose.
Yep. Glenn Gilbo's with us from Tiger Rag. Hey, Glenn, what's your gut feeling? I don't know what I'm basing this on, but I think it's up for grabs. I think it's a third chance he stays at Ole Miss, a third he goes to Florida, a third he goes to LSU.
Well, I think he's going to come to LSU. I really do. I mean, there's a chance he could not do that or possibly change his mind, but I think he's coming to LSU. I know today we were told by a good Tiger Rag source, that's not my guy, but somebody else at Tiger Rag source who's been at Tiger Rag longer than me, much longer. One of his contacts said that Lane has been talking to Frank Wilson about recruiting, about the recruiting class, which that early signing date is coming up. Now, Lane also had his family come look at houses in Baton Rouge, and they looked at houses in Gainesville. So It could just be more of his reconnaissance and intel that he was talking to Frank. But, all the signs are pretty good because there were reports yesterday by Ross Dellinger that Florida and Ole Miss had started to look toward moving on from Lane. Of course, that doesn't mean that he couldn't change his mind, but they're kind of getting ready in case he goes to LSU. So the fact that they're doing that, and LSU really hasn't done that. They haven't, they have some people as backups, but they haven't really gone to them yet. So right now it's still looking like LSU, and it's really looked like LSU since last Friday.
You think LSU would be looking at backups big time, Glenn, for a couple of reasons. One, I don't know about Lane Kiffin now. He doesn't drink anymore. He does this hot yoga every morning. He's changed his life. I'm not going to say he's reborn, but he's changed his life a little. So, and he's 50, not 40 or 35. So maybe the flakiness is gone, but maybe it's not. But worse than that, I think, just look internally if you're LSU. The last head coach, Brian Kelly, your second choice. The coach before that, Ed Ogeron, your second choice. The coach before that, Les Miles, your second choice. The coach before that, the great Nick Saban, your second choice. I think DiNardo was a second choice. I mean, chances are better than not that it ain't going to be Lane Kiffin in a way when you look at the bigger picture, historically speaking. I guess my point is, you think they'd be looking at some secondary candidates for sure.
Verge Osbury has some backups to quickly go to if Lane doesn't come to LSU. I think they'll be ready to do something. I hope it's Clark Lee at Vanderbilt. I hope it's not Eli Drinkwitz at my old school. I don't think he would he's just not impressive enough of a candidate. But, I agree with you. DiNardo was definitely not the first choice. It was Pat Sullivan. They couldn't get his buyout settled.
Yeah, and it was what's his name? The senator from Alabama who was at Ole Miss and Auburn.
Tommy Tuberville.
Tuberville was the choice before Saban.
Oh, I don't think so. No, I was at the Advocate at that time, and they may have been talking to some people.
Don't you remember the Jimmy Sexton, Sean Toohey, Joe Dean story?
Joe Dean was not involved in the hiring of Nick Saban. It was all Mark Emmert. Joe Dean knew Sean Toohey, and Sean Toohey knew Jimmy Sexton, and they may have helped facilitate those two getting together, but they would have got together anyway. In fact, Jimmy Sexton was Cecil Collins' agent, if you remember, and Cecil had some trials there in '98 that I covered, and that's when I first met Jimmy Sexton. So he already knew people in Baton Rouge, and Nick Saban was the main target almost the whole time. There were some other people they might have been looking at, but they were never serious about anyone until Saban. And then, they targeted Tom Herman, and he turned him down before they hired Orgeron. But you make a great – I don't know Skip Bertman looked at a lot of people. He interviewed Bobby Petrino. Spurrier was already pretty much locked in for South Carolina. So really Les Miles was their first target as well for that job. But your point is you do have to have backups.
You mentioned Lee at Vandy, Dillingham at Arizona State, Key at Georgia Tech, Drinkwitz at Missouri, and Sumrall at Tulane. Would that be like the short list of number twos?
I don't know who the top number two guy is at this point. I know Nick Saban gave Verge Drinkwitz, and he gave him Brom, the Louisville coach, and he gave him the Georgia Tech coach who you mentioned. But Verge he talks to Nick a lot, but he's talking to other people too. I'm not sure who his backups are.
We're visiting a few minutes with Glenn Gilbo from Tiger Rag. What do we know for sure, Glenn, that are facts? Like as a journalist, you can report just the basics that Brian Kelly's fired. LSU's going to hire some new coach, and they're scouring the country. And it appears that.
Well, I think the facts are that Lane Kiffin is definitely interested in LSU, but he may be interested in staying in Ole Miss, and he may be interested in going to Florida.
Yep.
And I think the facts are that he did send his family to Baton Rouge to look around at schools and homes.
Yep.
Of course, he did that in Gainesville too. And factually, I know Nick Saban and Jimmy Sexton have been trying to sell him on LSU over Florida. And LSU has factually put out an impressive contract offer to Lane Kiffin, and Ross Dellinger had that first at Yahoo Sports. That's $90 million plus incentives for 7 years, which comes out to about $13 million a year, which would make him close to the highest paid. Kirby Smart's at about $13.2 million at Georgia, and that package also has between $20 to $25 million a year set aside, or will be set aside, for NIL transfer portal recruiting. So quite an offer on the table for Lane from LSU.
Glenn Gilbo's got the latest for you, Tiger fans, tigerrag.com. And once again, Glenn, you normally would not be covering the Egg Bowl, but because it's the Lane Kiffin coaching situation, you will be in Starkville for that tomorrow.
Yeah. And I've always enjoyed covering other SEC games. I've done it on occasion, and when I was at Outkick, I barely covered LSU. I covered a lot of Alabama, Ole Miss games. So it should be really cool. I've never covered an Ole Miss Mississippi State Egg Bowl, though. So that should be neat. There's been some great ones, and it's an 11 a.m. kickoff, and then if I'm back in town, well, wherever I am, I'll be covering the LSU Oklahoma game from the TV, unless there's a Lane Kiffin press conference at the same time in Oxford, or Ole Miss or somebody is going to release that he's the LSU coach if that's what happens on Saturday.
TigerRag.com is the place. Glenn Gilbo, happy
For game-changing
Thanksgiving.
innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a
Thank
Latrim
you.
company,
Coming right
changed
back.
the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Isn't it time to have that dream backyard you've always wanted? LGD Lawn and Landscapes can make it happen with artificial turf installation. Synthetic turf gives you the look and feel of natural grass. You get a beautiful lawn without the ongoing expenses of maintenance and no puddles, meaning you won't be tracking grass or dirt into the house. Let LGD come to your house and give you a free estimate. NOLALGD.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live, we live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. It's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex, there's something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience. Right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
South Shore residents that love good food are making the short trip across the lake to Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville. North Shore folks have known about Gallagher's 527 for years. Now the South Shore has discovered this hidden gem. One of the metro area's best restaurants is less than 30 minutes away. Take the quick trip across the lake and experience Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville. As good as it gets.
The voice guy's right. They're open for dinner tonight. Gallagher's 527. Get there. They'll be open again Friday for lunch. Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville. So good. Thanksgiving week. I'm very thankful to Ronnie Lamarck from Araby Park. For years, Ronnie Lamarck has supported this program. As a matter of fact, the Lamarck Automotive Complex, home of the big store, Lamarck Ford, and the #1 Lincoln dealership in the state, along with Lamarck Crescent City Ford, your commercial van, truck, SUV dealer. They've been the title sponsor of this show for years and years and years. So when it's time to pick up a Ford vehicle, I mean, honestly, forget about the show and the sponsorship and Ronnie Lamarck. If you're going to get a Ford F-150 or an Explorer or a Mustang, any Ford vehicle, why would you go anywhere else but the big store? 45 plus years in Kennebra. And the Black Label Lincoln SUVs are as plush and luxurious as it gets. Go check out the full line of the wonderful Lincoln Black Label SUVs, the Corsair, the Nautilus, the Aviator, the Navigator, off the charts plush and nice. That's at the Lamarck Automotive Complex in Kenner. And like I said, if you own a business, you need a commercial truck, van, or SUV, Lamarck Crescent City Ford on Jefferson Highway. Yeah, very thankful for Ronnie Lamarck from Araby Park. Wide open Wednesday, Thanksgiving week. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Grateful for you. Seriously, watching, listening to the program religiously. Now the growth we've had the last few months on social media. Finally getting the social media stuff right. No, thanks a lot for following us on Twitter, X, at Corey Johnson. Thanks for subscribing to our YouTube channel. Doesn't cost anything. The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson. And thanks for checking out those short clips we've been posting on several social media sites like Twitter and X, like YouTube, also TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Check us out there. Corey Johnson, the Neutral Ground. Yeah, you right. Some great weather coming our way. Thanksgiving Thursday, Friday, both days, waking up to around 45 on the South Shore, probably high 30s on the North Shore. And then on the South Shore, creeping up to maybe 60 degrees, maybe. And on the North Shore, maybe mid-50s. So lots of 50s tomorrow and Friday, waking up to around 45 degrees both days. Yeah, you're right. Saturday looks really nice. Could have rain on Sunday. Regardless, it's Thanksgiving week, Thanksgiving weekend. Enjoy yourself with friends and family, the important things. Be thankful. I'm very thankful. Friends, family, acquaintances living in New Orleans. And you know, it's time to give too. Time to give. Like a really good thing to give to right now. You want to feel great for Thanksgiving? Go to the Humane website, humanela.org, the Humane Society of Louisiana. humanela.org. Jeff Dorson and his crew save cats and dogs, kittens and puppies, horses and goats every single day. It's what they do. But they can't do any of it without your donations. They are a nonprofit that solely works off your donations. They get nothing from the city. Louisiana SPCA, I don't know what they do on the West Bank. Plush state-of-the-art facility. They get $2 million annually from the city, and they still put down 1,000 animals a year. Don't give your money to the SPCA. Give your money to the Humane Society of Louisiana, where they don't put down any animals. humanela.org. Now, Jeff Dorson and his crew, they've earned my respect. He's been in New Orleans for 35 years doing great work with not a lot of assistance and help from the city or the state. But we make it work. Every May, we have that Humane May fundraiser. We raise $10,000. I think we're going to up it to $12,000 or $15,000 this May. Inflation, time, all that. And then every Thursday, we toss Jeff a bone and put him on for about 3 or 4 minutes on the program to talk about what he needs. Now, you want to feel really great for Thanksgiving? Go to the Humane Society of Louisiana website, humanela.org. humanela.org and donate. $10, $20, $50 makes a big difference. 5 arrested by ICE at a Gretna Home Depot. I wonder if any of the 5 arrested were violent offenders, violent criminals. Because if not, it's a waste of time and money and effort. It really is. You know why all of this is political? And I know a lot of you don't want to believe it's political, that this really isn't a problem. You know, that illegal aliens, illegal workers, migrant workers, they're not a problem. They're really just a benefit for us. Part of capitalism since day one in this country. Now, you want proof that it's a farce? I keep mentioning the Untouchables movie, the Sean Connery character, the Elliot Ness character. Everybody knows where the liquor is. Do you want to cross Capone? And they go into like a post office and kick in the back door, and there's where the liquor is. So everybody knows where the illegals are. They're at farms, dairy farms, vegetable, fruit farms. They're at meat packing plants, beef, chicken, pork, whatever, dairy farms, milking cows, construction sites, horse race tracks, racing facilities around the country. They raided Delta Downs in Vinton. I said it that day. I was like, this is a conservative-owned industry primarily. Most of the people that own these racetracks are conservative Republicans that are probably MAGA supporters, just like those that own the meat packing plants, the dairy farms, the farms in general, fruits and vegetables. Mostly conservative-owned. When they raided Delta Downs in Vinton, I said it the day it happened. It happened during the day, that very show that day. I said, this is going to be a problem because the horse racing industry has a lot of illegals and migrant workers working there, especially in states like Arizona and California. It's prolific. It's everywhere. The very next day, USA Today had an article, the big concern by the horse racing industry. All these conservative MAGA types that own the horse racing tracks freaking out about the raid. They made the call to their people. I donated 50 grand to Trump and MAGA. Lay off the racetracks. Have you noticed ICE has not raided another racetrack in the country? Go raid any racetrack. You'll find a bunch of illegals. And like Delta Downs, they arrested 82. 2 of them were violent criminals. The other 80 weren't. The numbers just don't add up. Arresting 82 and 2 are violent criminals. The other 80, basically some are going to sue for being illegally detained. Some might be citizens. So it's a political farce because otherwise they'd go where the illegals and the migrant workers are. They'd be raiding horse racing tracks, dairy farms, fruit and vegetable farms, meat packing plants. We know where they are. That's where you go get them. If ICE was serious and the problem was real. But because it's political nonsense, yet they have to have these raids. So the base of the MAGA folks are like, wow, illegals are a problem. It's legitimate. Look at all the ICE raids. It's all legitimate getting these violent criminals. No, that it's a political you-know-what show. 5 arrested by ICE at the Gretna Home Depot. How much money was spent investigating the 5 folks at the Home Depot to know to go arrest them? How many agents went and arrested these 5? Are any of them violent criminals? I mean, a lot of things need to be answered. Yeah, like I said, otherwise it's a waste of time, resources, and money. But no, just like I said about the Untouchables movie, we know where the liquor is. Do you want to cross Capone? We know where the illegals are. Do you want to cross, MAGA supporters and Trump supporters that own these facilities, these entities? And the clear answer is no. It was proven with the racetrack Delta Downs and Vinton raid. No, ICE is staying away from racetracks, staying away from dairy farms, staying away from meat packing plants, and staying away from vegetable and fruit farms where all the illegal migrant workers work and are. Easy to find them. Anyone can find them. No research, no investigation needed. Go raid the farm. You'll arrest a lot of illegals and migrant workers. Are any of them violent criminals, or is it just a waste of time? No, it's a political farce. It's a political farce. Michael Heck's going to join us in 5 minutes, ending the 5 o'clock power hour this afternoon in style. We got not one, but 2 viewpoints, opinions, and some facts from not one, but 2 sports reporters. Fletcher Mackel joined us at 4:20. Glenn Gilbo just joined us at 5:20, the latest and greatest on the LSU head coaching search. Both of them kind of conventional thinking and wisdom. Lane Kiffin will be the next LSU head coach. I'm not so sure. I hate to say like nothing would surprise me. I guess the biggest surprise would be him going back to Ole Miss. But I think LSU, Florida, it's kind of a toss-up. It would not shock me if Lane Kiffin goes to Florida. It wouldn't shock me if Lane Kiffin goes to LSU. Really wouldn't shock me, just maybe the lower percentage of the three, if he remains at Ole Miss and all this was leveraged, like to get his assistant coaches paid more, to get even more NIL money, put out there for Ole Miss, and to maybe pay Lane Kiffin a few more mil a year. You can ask for that if you're successful being Lane Kiffin, and you can almost demand it when you dangle Florida and LSU jobs and potentially leaving Oxford, Mississippi. That has a little bit more power, a little more oomph. Hey, Trey Yen in Mandeville's open. They'll be closed tomorrow. They'll reopen on Friday. Dinner tonight at Trey Yen in Mandeville. It's not Chinese food. It's Chinese cuisine. You're going to be turkeying out over the next few days. Get something totally different. Some great Chinese cuisine. And I'll tell you a little secret, maybe not so much anymore. I've been talking about it for years. Trey Yen, one of the best seafood restaurants in Metro New Orleans. You love seafood? You'll love Trey Yen in Mandeville. Happy Thanksgiving. Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans Inc. joins us next. 5 o'clock powwow continues.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Scott Craig of Katie's Restaurant.
All of my ingredients are fresh. Nothing comes out of a can here. Nothing. All of our seafood is Louisiana. All of our vegetables are Louisiana vegetables. It's a neighborhood restaurant.
Katie's in Mid-City.
Artificial turf custom golf putting greens. Beautiful, functional, zero maintenance. Call New Orleans' own LGD Lawn and Landscapes and get your free estimate.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again. Ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now.
Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
Word is, one of the best restaurants in New Orleans isn't even in New Orleans. Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville. Cross the lake and taste what you're missing. Tuesday through Saturday, Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, Some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab. Carrollton at Jeanette by the Streetcar Barn. Lebanon's Cafe.
Hey, ladies, LGD Lawn and Landscapes installed a chipping and putting green in my backyard. I'm not kidding you. I'm the envy of all my buddies that play golf. They can't believe it. I can't believe it. I look out the window and see that green in my backyard. I pinch myself. About every day, I go back there for 5 or 10 minutes, chip, putt a little bit. Over a week, I've had like an hour of practice, just doing 5, 6, 7 minutes a day. It's fantastic. You can get it done in time for Christmas. Could you imagine your husband, your boyfriend waking up and in the backyard is a chipping and putting green all his own? LGD Lawn and Landscapes can make it happen. Go online, check out all the installations in the metro area. Get an absolutely free estimate of installation of artificial turf, synthetic turf in your backyard. NOLALGD.com. NOLALGD.com. Michael Hecht. We're ending the 5 o'clock powwow in style during this Thanksgiving week. Orleans Inc. joins us. What's up, Michael?
What's up, KJ? Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, man. We were just talking about the tradition of turkey and turducken locally, all that, oyster dressing, dirty rice, baked macaroni. We do it differently down here, Michael, at Thanksgiving in New Orleans. So I love the oyster dressing twist, things like that.
Yeah, the oyster dressing, stuffed mirliton with shrimp is probably my favorite that you really don't find other places.
Yep.
I just love the flavor profile of that.
Yep.
No, it's true. The turducken, I know, is a controversial thing. It doesn't exist in nature. But any alternative to turkey is really better than plain turkey.
Yeah, I like turkey, but yeah, I think we fool ourselves with the tradition. Any protein almost next to turkey, you're going to go with the other protein. You know, I posted something, Michael, about New Orleans. A few things like pizza, I think we're underrated. Per capita, I'd put our 20, 30 great pizza joints against Chicago or New York. Percentage of population. Same. Fried chicken. You know, people like, man, they get great fried chicken in Kentucky or something. Like in New Orleans, we have 50 places. We are the world's capital for fried chicken. And I'll tell you another one. Per capita, we might be the prime steakhouse capital of the world, including Vegas. I mean, I don't want $1,000 steak served in a briefcase that sucks. I want a good piece of meat. And in New Orleans, we got a lot of good steakhouses, Michael.
Yeah, you know, it's one of those questions like, you know, is it Michael or LeBron? You kind of ask about what's the goat of steakhouses in New Orleans, and I go back and forth on a few of them. If somebody else is buying, I might say right now Dory's Metropolitan might be the one. I don't know if I'm buying or going with friends. Honestly, man,
you're going to Crescent City on Broad.
Or Crescent City. I love those places.
Yep. No, Doris, I think just the aged meat, how they do it. I'm not a big fan of their sides. Like you don't get the traditional steakhouse sides there, but Doris is great. Dickie Brennan's is great. Chop House. We're lucky. We have a lot of great steakhouse. I'll break them down steak for you. I mean, the filet. Houston's on St. Charles has an Allen Brothers prime filet, the purveyor out of Chicago. I think it's the best filet in town. New York strip, maybe like Mr. John's or Desi Vega. The ribeye, I'd say Doris Metropolitan. And like flank skirt hanger, La Boca down in the Warehouse District.
Yeah, La Boca. God, I forgot about that, man. Yeah, that one too. And then, you know, a lot of the French praise places just do a great kind of steak frite.
Oh, Lillette on Magazine.
Nails it. I mean, it's, you know, no, there's times when you just need it. I was actually at N7 last night. We got their steak. We shared it with my son. That good glass of wine. It was a nice meal. I think that, you know, if you were to celebrate with a nice piece of beef instead of the turkey, you would be you'd be forgiven by Uncle Sam.
Yeah, I think so. Hey, Michael, it's a big week. I mean, it's Thanksgiving week, short work week, long weekend. It's Bayou Classic weekend, a nice economic impact for the city over Thanksgiving that may normally not exist. this tradition's been going on for 50 years. So lots of Southern and Grambling alums come to town. A lot of people that have no affiliation with either school come to town for the big Bayou Classic party, the game, the Battle of the Bands. Nice little pop for us over Thanksgiving.
It is. It's a nice pop, and it's a nice feel-good event, nice feel-good weekend, right? So, no, everybody likes the Bayou Classic. It seems to thematically kind of fit with Thanksgiving weekend.
Hey, Michael, I said after Katrina, you want to find a silver lining. Being able to, start the Orleans Parish Public School System over from scratch, City was bankrupt, 9,000 Orleans Parish Public School employees let go. The legitimate ones came back. They're in the school system to this day, a lot of them. Another thing, the big 4 housing projects, all torn down. Yep. All this should have been done without Katrina as the excuse, but I'll take Katrina as the excuse. Kind of the same thing right now with the city. I think trimming the fat, reducing the budget at City Hall, eliminating, employees that don't work and the like. I think that, should have been done years ago. And this budget crunch is making that happen right now. So I'm trying to spin it into a silver lining.
No,
Michael.
I agree with you 100%, Corey. If the timing could not be less bad. If this had happened a year ago, the city would literally be bankrupt. We'd be in Chapter 9. If it happened a year from now, then the new Mayor Moreno, would have to own it. Right now, the timing is ideal. And I'll tell you what, it's not going to be as hard as we think. There's so many opportunities for cost savings. The mayor has 4 or 5 vehicles just for herself.
Yeah.
There are $100 million in parking fines not collected. Sales tax, what percent of sales tax are we actually collecting? I mean, just by tightening it up, we're going to be able to get this thing in order. So, no, I think that this was decades in the making. Let's take care of it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Hey, Michael, always enjoy you joining us on a Friday. Thanks for doing it on Wednesday. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family, brother.
Likewise. Have a wonderful one with you and yours. I'll see you on the other side, Corey.
Yeah, you're right. That's Michael Heck from Greater New Orleans, Inc., busting his tail to bring some good economic news to struggling New Orleans. Yeah, you're right. Thanksgiving week, tomorrow morning, Thanksgiving, Thursday, and Friday. South Shore, we will wake up to 45 degrees. Yeah, you're right. A little wintry feel. I mean, it was outright hot yesterday. Almost like a May or September day yesterday. We're fading into December next week. What's that, Blue Boy? That cool, crisp weather gets you frisky. You want to go for a long walk, gets you moving. I hear you, buddy. Definitely wakes you up, gets the senses going. No, it's perfect. Thanksgiving, Friday, cool, crisp, and comfortable. Have a great Thanksgiving. Thanks so much for joining us. See you right here, 4 o'clock. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Down, Blue Boy, down. You're getting some turkey.
You're
Hang
on
on,
the
buddy.
neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 6 p.m.